Trump vs. Zelenskyy, a truly shocking exchange. The 2019 Trump-Zelenskyy incident exposed a startling abuse of power when President Donald Trump offered Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy a White House meeting and military assistance in exchange for Zelenskyy looking into political adversary Joe Biden. Deep political rifts were revealed, and the tenacity of American democratic institutions was put to the test when this blatant attempt to use foreign policy as a weapon for personal benefit led to a historic impeachment. In this video, we will go through 7 key points that define this unprecedented controversy. Number 7. Withholding military aid as leverage. A key point in the scandal was the Trump administration's July 2019 decision to freeze $391 million in military aid to Ukraine, which Congress had approved, and which was meant to strengthen Ukraine's defense capabilities against ongoing Russian aggression, especially in the Donbass region and Crimea. The freeze was started on July 18, 2019, just days before Trump's notorious July 25th phone call with Zelenskyy. Senior officials, including acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and Pentagon leaders, testified that the hold was not based on policy concerns but was directly ordered by Trump. And Mulvaney later acknowledged in a press briefing that the aid was withheld to pressure Ukraine into looking into the Bidens, saying, "We do that all the time with foreign policy." The Department of Defense had already verified that Ukraine had implemented enough anti-corruption measures to justify the help. Thus, this acknowledgement went counter to previous White House assertions that the hold was caused by worries about corruption in Ukraine. The freeze sent Ukrainian officials into frenzy, and Valery Chaly, the country's ambassador to the United States at the time, warned that the delay may have catastrophic effects on Ukraine's defense capabilities. After Congress opened an investigation into the hold, the aid was finally released on September 11, 2019. But the precedent of using military aid as a negotiating chip for personal political benefit and the harm to U.S. Ukraine relations were severe. This tactic created significant morale and legal concerns regarding the abuse of presidential power and violated the Impoundment Control Act, which forbids presidents from unilaterally withholding payments that Congress has appropriated. Number 6. Direct request for political investigations. On July 25th, Trump specifically urged Zelenskyy to look into 2 issues: a disproved conspiracy theory that Ukraine, not Russia, meddled in the 2016 U.S. election, and Hunter Biden's position on the board of Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian oil business. "There's a lot of talk about Biden's son," Trump said, "and a lot of people want to find out about that. Biden stopped the prosecution. Therefore, it would be excellent if you could do anything with the Attorney General. If you can investigate," Biden boasted that he had halted the prosecution. In order to defend Burisma, where his son Hunter was a board member, Joe Biden, in his capacity as vice president, allegedly corruptly urged Ukraine to dismiss prosecutor Viktor Shokin in 2016. Because Shokin failed to prosecute corruption, including cases involving Burisma, his firing was actually a bipartisan US and EU goal. Framed as a favor, Trump's demand aimed to damage a political competitor while eroding the consensus among US intelligence that Russia, not Ukraine, meddled in 2016. Legal experts believed this violated 52 U.S.C. Section 30121, which forbids soliciting foreign support in elections. Trump's readiness to use American foreign policy for his own political advantage was also made clear by the request, creating a risky precedent for the integrity of democratic processes. Number 5. Rudy Giuliani's shadow diplomacy. By setting up a second diplomatic route to put pressure on Ukraine, Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was instrumental in the incident. In order to demand investigations into the Bidens and the 2016 election, Giuliani visited with Ukrainian officials between May and August 2019, including then Prosecutor General Yuri Lutsenko and Zelenskyy advisor Andriy Yermak. Trump instructed Giuliani to travel to Ukraine in a tweet on May 10, 2019, saying, "He will be meeting with the new president of Ukraine. Let's observe his performance." Later, Giuliani acknowledged that he wanted to meddle in an investigation in order to support Trump. Ambassador Bill Taylor and other U.S. diplomats said that Giuliani's actions went against government policy, calling the practice of withholding funding for political favors crazy. U.S. Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch was also removed as a result of Giuliani's activities after he wrongly accused her of disloyalty. This irregular channel served as an example of how private interest undermined diplomatic norms and trust, so corrupting U.S. foreign policy. Giuliani's involvement raised questions about corruption and foreign interference by obfuscating the distinction between private law practice and public office. Number 4. CrowdStrike conspiracy theory. In order to shift blame for the 2016 election interference, Trump insisted that Ukraine look into CrowdStrike, a U.S. cybersecurity firm that examined the hacked DNC servers. In the July 25th call, Trump told Zelenskyy, "The server, they say Ukraine has it. I would like to have the Attorney General call you or your people." This theory, which was spread by Kremlin-affiliated actors and fringe media, had been refuted by U.S. intelligence agencies, the Mueller report, and CrowdStrike itself. By reviving it, Trump sought to support a false narrative that Ukraine, not Russia, attacked U.S. democracy, undermining investigations into his campaign's ties to Russia. Trump's readiness to accept foreign propaganda in order to strengthen his political base and erode institutional truth was also made clear by the demand. This part of the scandal demonstrated how much Trump was prepared to falsify information and take advantage of foreign governments in order to further his political and personal agenda. Number 3. Quid pro quo implication. Several witnesses attested to the clear quid pro quo. According to testimony by EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland, Giuliani was given responsibility for Ukraine policy by Trump. And in return for assistance in a White House meeting, he expected a deliverable, a public declaration of investigations. If they don't do it, they're not getting the money, Sondland said to Ukrainian advisor Andriy Yermak during a meeting on September 1, 2019. The extortion was emphasized in texts sent to Sondland by Acting Ambassador Bill Taylor. Are we now saying that security assistance and WH meeting are conditioned on investigations? Sondland answered, "Give me a call." Trump's supporters contended that there was no explicit exchange, but that the desire to solicit personal benefit is sufficient under federal law, which does not require clarity. This was described by the House Judiciary Committee as a classic misuse of authority that used official actions such as meetings or aid for personal benefit. This quid pro quo was blatantly unethical and illegal, revealing Trump's readiness to abuse his positional authority for his own gain. Number 2. Whistleblower complaint and cover-up. The whistleblower, later identified as CIA analyst Eric Ciaramella, filed a complaint on August 12, 2019, outlining Trump's urgent misconduct. Acting Director of National Intelligence Joseph Maguire blocked the complaint from Congress, violating federal whistleblower protections. White House lawyers, including Pat Cipollone, intervened to categorize the call transcript as secret on a code word level server, a move National Security Council aide Alexander Vindman called unauthorized. Trump attacked the whistleblower as a spy and traitor, while Republicans demanded that his identity be made public. The administration further blocked Congress by preventing key witnesses, including John Bolton and Mick Mulvaney, from testifying and withholding documents, which resulted in the impeachment charge. Public confidence in government institutions was further damaged by this cover-up, which demonstrated the extent to which the Trump administration was prepared to go in order to hide its actions. Number 1. Impeachment and acquittal. On December 18, 2019, the House impeached Trump, with all Democrats voting for obstruction and one Republican, Justin Amash, voting for abuse of authority. However, the Senate trial turned into a fiercely politicized affair. "I'm not an impartial juror," said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who pledged cooperation with the White House. Only 2 Republicans, Romney and Collins, voted to permit fresh evidence, despite widespread support for witnesses like Bolton, whose memoir later exposed that Trump personally linked aid to probes. Romney was the only Republican to vote in favor of Trump's acquittal on charges of obstruction and abuse of power, which were decided 52-48 and 53-47, respectively, on February 5, 2020. Impeachment was solidified as a partisan tool rather than a constitutional check because of the trial's hurried schedule and paucity of witnesses, which fueled claims of a cover-up. This result demonstrated how deeply divided American politics are and how difficult it is to hold a president responsible in such a divisive setting. These factors collectively demonstrate the extraordinary abuse of diplomatic authority for one's own political benefit, leading to a historic impeachment and an ongoing ethical controversy surrounding the president. Thanks for watching our video and don't forget to subscribe.